on campus today. We take interview Maya. So let's start.
Hey Rayhan, long time no chat. Things are good with you?
Maya, my first question is what is global our economic? Can you tell me?
Ah, all right. Global economics is basically looking at how all the economies of the world are connected and influence each other. It's not one country, but how trade, investments, and financial flows between countries all work together, sometimes don't. Think of it like a complicated web. Things like international trade, exchange rate, global investment patterns, and even things like how economic policies in one country can impact others. It's a pretty broad field, honestly. Any specific about it you're curious about? Gotcha. Sometimes it helps to narrow things down. Is there a particular economics that sparked your question? Like, are you wondering about trade wars or maybe climate change affects different economies? Okay, you use it for your team. Is your team working on something related to international?
Okay, my next question is why is globalization important?
All right, so globalization for a bunch of reasons. Essentially, it boosts economic growth, more trade usually means more opportunity businesses and consumers. It also spreads new technologies ideas around faster, which can lead to innovation. Plus, it can increase competition, which in theory keeps prices down and quality up. But it's not all sunshine and roses. It can also lead to job displacement and widen income inequality. And what specifically makes you ask why? Is there a debate you're wrestling with?
Okay, my next question is how do trade wars affect global markets?
Whoa, that's a big question. Great work. You major economic indicators? Or are you thinking about rhetoric, like how politicians talk about the economy? Because both can absolutely move markets. If you mean indicators, GDP growth rates, inflation numbers, employment figures, interest rates by central banks, those are huge. They give investors clues about the health of an economy. Then there's stuff like oil prices, manufacturing data, consumer confidence. If the way people talk about the economy, that's a different ballgame. Positive or negative statements from influential leaders can create optimism or panic, which lead to big swings in stock prices. So, yeah, words matter. What were you thinking of specifically? We're thinking about it broadly then. It's kind of like the stock market is a really sensitive creature. It reacts to almost anything that suggests change in future profits. So, news about political stability, trade agreements, even natural disasters, all of that in. It's I'll sort through, honestly. Anything in particular you've been noticing lately? Well, if you ever want to hack any specific market moves or economic news, feel free to toss it my.
Okay,
I'm happy to try and make sense too.
my next question
All
is
right. What's on your mind?
what causes inflation worldwide?
Points on. Okay, so inflection point in the economic is basically a turning point, a moment where a trend changes direction. There are a few things that cause them. Sometimes it's a big disruptive innovation like the internet or invention of the assembly line. Those create entirely new industries and reshape existing ones. Other times it's major policy change, like a shift in policy or a big fiscal stimulus package. Black swan events, unexpected, like a pandemic or a financial crisis, also create inflection points. Basically, anything that fundamentally alters the economic landscape can trigger one. Does that make sense? Or are you thinking about a specific kind of inflection point?
Okay. My next question is, what is economic inequality?
Okay, so economic inequality is basically the gap in income and wealth between just in poorest people in a society. It's not just about some people more than others, it's about the extent of that difference. You can measure it in a bunch of ways, like looking at the income share held by the top 1% versus the bottom 50%, or using something called the Gini coefficient. It happens for a lot of reasons. Differences in skills and discrimination, changes in technology that favors certain workers, and even just luck. It's a big deal because extreme inequality can lead to social unrest, economic opportunity for those at the bottom, and even slow down overall economic growth. It's a complicated issue with a lot of debate around it. Does that give you a basic understanding?
Okay. My next
And
question
you're
is,
thinking about it in a broad sense, maybe this
how did COVID-19
economy.
change? How did COVID-19 change global economic? जी मैम आई है.
COVID-19, that one really shook things up, didn't it? It caused a massive rapid shift in the global economy. First, you saw huge supply chain disruptions, factories shut down, shipping got messed up, and it became hard to get. Demand shifted to people started spending less on things like travel and entertainment and more on things. That led to a boom in commerce. Governments funded with massive stimulus packages to try to keep economies afloat, which created a lot of debt. In long term, it accelerated existing trends like remote work and automation. It also widened economic inequality as lower wage workers were disproportionately affected by losses. Honestly, the effects are still rippling through the global economy today. Anything about those specifically that you're wondering about? That depends on what you right. Digital economy. That's everything related to economic activity that relies on digital technologies. Think online advertising, digital payments, cloud computing, the Internet of Things. Basically anything that happens online or is powered by digital infrastructure. It's grown massively in recent years, and it's changing how businesses operate, how people consume goods and services. It's not just about tech companies either. Traditional businesses are having to adapt to the digital economy to stay. It's also raising new questions about things like data, cybersecurity, and to regulate digital monopolies. Is there a particular angle of the digital economy you're interested in? Gotcha. You're thinking about it more generally, right?
My next question, how does artificial intelligence affect the global economy?
That's a huge one. AI is poised to have a pretty impact on the global economy. On the hand, it could boost productivity by automating tasks, creating some services, and making businesses more efficient. Lead to economic growth through innovation and potentially even help solve the world's biggest challenges. But downside, AI could also lead to job as machines take over tasks currently done by humans. It raises questions about inequality as the benefits of AI might not be shared equally. And there are also concerns about bias in AI algorithms and the ethical implications of its use. Experts are still debating just how big the impact will be, but it's clear that AI will reshape the global economy in significant ways. What aspects of its impact are you most curious about? Fair. It's a win.
What is the technology economic growth?
Technology is a huge driver of economic growth. Historically, major technological advancements like the steam engine, electricity, and the internet have led to big leaps in productivity and living standards. Technology growth by increasing efficiency, creating new industries, and improving existing ones. It allows business to produce more with less, which lowers costs and increases profits. Innovation, which creates products and services that people want. Think about how smartphones revolutionized communication and created entire app economies. Basically, technology allows us to do more with what we have, which is the core of economic progress. Is there a specific type of you're interested in, or an era of technological change? Got it. You're keeping it broad. All right.
And next question is, can you tell me why do countries go into debt?
Okay, so countries go into debt for a lot of reasons. Often it's because they're spending more money than in through taxes and other revenue. That's a deficit. They might borrow money to fund essential services like healthcare and education, or to invest in infrastructure projects like roads and bridges. Sometimes it's to respond to emergencies like natural disasters or economic crises. Governments might also borrow to finance wars or to stabilize. It's not always a bad thing. It can be used to make productive investments that boost term growth. But too much debt can become a problem, leading to higher interest rates, economic instability, and even it's a tricky balance. Anything specific about national debt that's on your mind?
Okay,
Fair
my
enough.
next question
You're
is,
processing all right.
can you tell me what is sustainable economics?
Okay, sustainable economics. It's basically the idea of managing the economy in a way that needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet the needs. It recognizes that economics can happen indefinitely on a finite planet. It tries to balance economic prosperity with environmental protection and social equity. That means things like reducing pollution, conserving sources, investing in renewable energy, and promoting fair labor practices. It's about creating an economic that can thrive long term without environment or widening social inequalities. Or were you curious about a specific aspect of it?
Economic.
That's a good one. Education is absolutely critical for economic success, both for individuals and for countries as a whole. For individuals, better education typically leads to higher earning potential, more job opportunities, and greater financial security. But it's not just about money. Education also fosters critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and creativity, things that are essential for innovation and entrepreneurship. For countries, a well-educated workforce is more productive, adaptable to change, to drive economic growth. It also leads to better health, foundational investment in a country's future. Really. Anything specific about the link between education and economic success you're wondering about?
Next question is, can you tell me how does climate change influence economic?
Okay, climate change and the economy, a huge intersection. Climate change events, hurricanes, floods, droughts. They cause billions of dollars in damage to infrastructure, agriculture, and property. It disrupts supply chains, increases insurance costs, and can lead to lower productivity. Changes in temperature and rainfall patterns can also affect agricultural yields, leading to food shortages and higher prices. And then there's the cost of adapting to climate change, building seawalls, developing drought-resistant crops, investing in renewable energy. But there's also an economic opportunity side to it. The transition to a green economy can create in industries. Still, overall economic costs of climate change are expected to be enormous. Is there a particular area of that impact you're curious about? All right, just processing. No need to fill the silence.
My next, can you tell me how do how does employment affect economic?
Okay, so unemployment has a significant impact on the economy. When people are out of work, they have less money to spend, which raises overall demand for goods and services. That can lead to lower economic growth or even a recession. High unemployment also puts a strain on social safety nets, like unemployment benefits and welfare programs, to social unrest and increased. Plus, unemployed workers can lose skills and experience, making it harder for them to find jobs in the future. It's not just about the individual hardship, it creates a ripple effect throughout the entire economy. Things about unemployment's effects that you're thinking about?
Okay, my next question is
All right,
how
jump in
does
then.
foreign investment shape economic?
All right, so shifts in investment, where money flows, can really affect the economy. When investment increases in a particular area, it leads to economic growth in that sector. For instance, if there's a surge in investment in renewable energy, you'll see growth in that industry, job creation, and potentially lower energy. On the flip side, if investment dries up in an area, it can lead to decline. But it's not just about the amount of investment, it's also about where it's going. A shipment from, say, manufacturing to technology can change the structure of the economy, creating new opportunities, but also potentially disrupting industries, like rearranging the pieces on a chessboard, everything else to adjust. Anything specific about investment shifts you had in mind?
My next question is,
All
can you
right.
tell me how does corruption affect global?
Okay, corruption has a really damaging effect on the global economy. It undermines economic growth, urges investment, and increases. When corruption is rampant, businesses are less likely to invest because they face increased risk and uncertainty. It also distorts markets through inefficient allocation of resources. Think about it. If you have to bribe officials to get a permit or win a contract, that increases your costs and reduces your competitiveness. Corruption also erodes trust in institutions and the rule of law, which is essential in an economy. It can lead to capital as investors move their money to more and transparent countries. It's a really insidious problem, and it's estimated to cost the global economy trillions of dollars a year. Anything specific about the ways corruption affects the economy you're interested in?
Okay, my next question is, what is the gig economic?
All right, so the gig economy, based a labor market characterized by short-term contracts or freelance work, as opposed to permanent jobs. Think Uber drivers, freelance riders, or habit workers. People in the gig economy are classified as independent contractors rather than employees, which means they get traditional benefits like insurance or paid time off. It's grown rapidly in recent years thanks to technology platforms that connect workers with clients. It can offer flexibility and autonomy, but it also comes with challenges like income instability, lack of worker protections. It's kind of changing the whole nature of work, honestly. Is there a specific aspect of the gig economy that you're wondering about?
Okay, my next question is how do global stock markets connect economics?
All right, so global markets are a really good indicator of economic. They're connected in a bunch of ways. They reflect investor confidence in the future performance of companies and companies. When economies are doing well, tend to rise and stock price up. Conversely, when economies are struggling, stock prices tend to fall. Stock markets also allow companies to raise capital by issuing shares, which can fund investment and growth. Stock markets are global. What happens in one market can quickly spread to others. For example, a stock market crash in the US trigger sell-offs in markets around the world. They're kind of like a nervous system for the economy. Anything specific about the connection you're all right. Just letting that sink in. Whoa. Okay, that's gotcha. My apologies. Overzealous there. All right, what's your
Score.
okay, economic. All right, so economic stability is really important for a lot of reasons. It provides a predictable environment for businesses to invest and grow, which creates and raises living standards. It helps to control inflation, which the purchasing power of consumers. It also reduces uncertainty, which encourages people to save and invest. Stable economy is more resilient to shocks like recessions or crises. It provides a foundation for long-term prosperity and well-being. It allows people for the future and feel secure. Is there a particular aspect of economic stability that you're focusing on? All right.
The future of global economics.
Okay, that's the million-dollar questions. Predicting the future is always tricky, but a few major trends are shaping global economics right now. We're likely technological innovation, AI, automation, and biotechnology, transforming industries and labor markets. Climate change is going to be a huge factor, requiring significant investment in green technologies and adaptation measures. Geopolitical tensions and trade conflicts are also likely to challenge. We might see a shift in global economic power, with emerging markets like India and Southeast Asia playing a large role. And there's ongoing about whether we're heading towards a more fragmented or graded global economy. It's going to be a complex and uncertain future, honestly. What aspect of the future are you most interested in?
Okay, my next question is do exchange rates affect economics?
All right, so exchange rate, how much one currency is worth compared to another, have a big impact on the economy. When a country's currency thins, its exports become expensive for foreign buyers, can hurt its export industries, but it makes imports cheaper for domestic consumers. Your currency has the opposite effect. It boosts exports, but makes imports expensive. Exchange rates also affect investment and economic growth. They're constantly fluctuating based on interest rates, economic performance, and political stability. It's a complex interplay, and changes can have ripple effects throughout the economy. What specifically about exchange rates caught your attention? All right. Um,
So even this one interview with my like it in my office.
just let me know when you're ready for the next question. No pressure.